The Kashmir dispute has been one of the most protracted conflicts in modern history. The conflict dates back from before the birth of the two nuclear-armed countries that have already fought two wars over it, namely India and Pakistan. With both countries having divergent positions pertaining to a path towards resolution, the decades-old Kashmir conflict has been difficult to resolve. Obfuscation of information pertaining to human rights violations, the potential role of the international community, and the issue becoming a nuclear flashpoint has been one of the main reasons that have led to a delay and perhaps even a denial of its resolution. Given the prolonged nature of the conflict, a limited number of previous studies on the topic showed international media coverage tended to reflect national priorities of the countries whose media provided coverage to the Kashmir dispute, as well as the status of their relationships with India and Pakistan. Building on past findings with a larger evidence base, this study provides a deeper understanding of international media coverage of the Kashmir dispute by uncovering reasons associated with both airtime and content. In terms of research methodology, the study utilized framing and keyword analyses to analyze media coverage of the Kashmir dispute by 4 English language websites from American, Turkish, Pakistani, and Indian news outlets, namely CNN, TRT World, GeoNews, and NDTV, respectively. The search engine located all news articles, including relevant terms from January to August 2018. Though US and Turkey are not directly involved in the Kashmir dispute, US-Pakistan, US-India, Turkey-Pakistan, and Turkey-India relations have been multi-layered and complex, attuned to the ever-shifting global dynamics, and serve as a good example of how the Kashmir dispute has been both a barometer and an instrument of influence by India and Pakistan. Key findings include the fact that TRT World had more than 4 times the number of news articles that are directly linked to the Kashmir dispute in the study period compared to CNN. That says volumes about the relative importance of the conflict for the two news outlets. CNN was also more likely to use a security framework using terms such as terrorists and militants, while highlighting religious animosity and nuclear weapons. Statistical analyses reveal that TRT World, on the other hand, was more likely than CNN to use a humanitarian framework by underscoring individual stories and human rights violations. NDTV coverage also aligned more with CNN than TRT World, while GeoNews aligned more with TRT World than CNN. Significant insights from the study include the fact that while many media researchers argue that the CNN effect does have an impact, it appears that the viewpoint about US media framing never really fully operating independently of the ones in power holds water. There is also good reason to expect US coverage of the Kashmir dispute to echo the Indian official standpoint due to growing political and economic cooperation between the two countries. Many US officials have also been unsupportive of Pakistan's role in Afghanistan, accusing the country of facilitating militants despite Pakistan paying a heavy price, both human and economic. The American government military apparatus frustration with Pakistan was detectable, as the same terms were used to describe Pakistan's role in Kashmir as its role in Afghanistan in an apparent attempt to develop a case for American efforts being thwarted by Pakistan, even if they are two entirely different conflicts. TRT World, on the other hand, was significantly more likely to highlight the humanitarian angle, particularly human rights violations, as we found earlier, compared to CNN. Aligned with Turkish leadership that has emphasized that the current global order has to be based on principles of justice and equality as a precondition to find sustainable long-term solutions to current conflicts, TRT World coverage appears to promote a multilateral solution to the Kashmir dispute, which reflects Pakistan's stance, as bilateral dialogue appears to have failed badly. Media coverage is never without political context, and the coverage of the Kashmir dispute is no exception, as we saw the same conflict being covered in very different ways by the two international news outlets included in this study. One demanded action, while the other invited disdain. Recently, the special status of Indian-administered Kashmir was revoked, with Pakistan calling it a flagrant disregard for 11 United Nations Security Council resolutions, while India called it a strictly internal matter. As we speak, though, more than 10 million people are enduring severe restrictions on freedom of movement, assembly, and expression. The question is, how will the international media cover the Kashmir dispute now?